Hello and welcome to another IELTS essay writing video. In this video, I would like to share a tool with you that you may or may not be aware of. What you see on the screen is a chart with descriptions of the attributes different band levels are expected to exhibit on the Task 2 portion of the written IELTS exam. This chart is available publicly on the internet, and I will link to it in the sidebar of this video if you're interested to have a look for yourself. Before we look at this chart in detail, I would like to share an experience with you that I had this past week. I met with a colleague of mine who is an IELTS examiner, and I presented this chart to him and asked him how clearly or how exact this chart matches the criteria that he uses when he marks IELTS essays. And he shared quite a bit of information that I think you will find interesting. The first piece of information that he shared was that he corrects between 10 and 20 essays per hour. So in 1 hour, he can correct as many as 20 essays. Now this means that he is spending 3 to 6 minutes per essay. And this may seem like a short period of time, but it should be remembered that IELTS examiners are trained professionals and can very accurately measure the difference between, for example, an essay written at a 6 level and an essay written at a 6.5 level. And the reason that there is such accuracy and such consistency between all IELTS examiners is that they follow a very strict rubric. A rubric is a marking scheme, which is basically a list of a number of skills that the IELTS exam taker must show in their response to their essay question. Now that rubric is quite similar, is exactly similar to the information presented in this chart. Now let's look at this in detail together. Basically you can see 5 columns. On the far left you see the band score. And then there's a list of broad skills that must be possessed by the student to achieve a high mark on the IELTS exam. In the first column, we can see task response. Task response has to do with how well the student responds to the essay question assigned to them. How clearly does the answer fulfill what has been asked of them in the question? Column number 2 deals with coherence and cohesion, which is the ability of the essay to link different ideas together, both at a sentence level, at a paragraph level, and at an entire essay level. All of the ideas must link, and they must do this through cohesive phrases. How are these cohesive phrases used? Are they used in a fluent manner, or are they somewhat misworded and difficult to follow? The fourth column you can see is the lexical resource column. And this deals with the ability of the students to use a variety of vocabulary and phrasing and a measure of how accurately they can display this skill. The final column is the grammatical range and accuracy column. And this deals with the ability of the student to write grammatically correct sentences and to employ proper punctuation and to avoid even minor errors such as spelling. So all of these different topics are covered in this chart, and the skills and the expectations for each different band level are listed quite clearly. Now, we won't go through everything in detail, but I wanted to point out some very major differences to you if you are interested to know what the difference is between a 3 band and a 4 band, or a 6 band and a 6.5 or 7 band. Now, if we start at the very bottom, of course, a 0. 0 is a student who does not attend their IELTS exam. A 1 is someone who writes so incoherently that the examiner does not know what is being written. And 2 is equally problematic. Now, let's start at level 3. Now, a level 3 writer will write with numerous spelling mistakes. Their basic punctuation will be incorrect or completely missing. So they will employ a number of run-on sentences. These are sentences that are simply too long. Cohesive phrases, so the ability to link ideas together using phrases like "as this shows," "as can be seen from this," "in conclusion," "firstly," "secondly," "on the other hand," "as is clear from this data," "as this data clearly shows." These sorts of phrases. These phrases are either not used or they are used completely incorrectly. Structure at a band 3 is lacking. Structure is a skill that can clearly be seen based on whether the student is employing or displaying their ability to separate their ideas into various paragraphs. Did the student write one large paragraph? Well, that is a very big mistake. Did the student write a number of little paragraphs? Or did the student write little titles above each paragraph? These are also things that we don't want to do on the exam.